ready for 8 minutes. I do apologise.
All good.
Right. So, Mr. Christopher Eubank Jr., how are you feeling after Saturday's event? Are you satisfied with your performance? How are you physically? Let us know.
Absolutely satisfied with the performance. Did pick up an injury very early on, which did affect, my the way I proceeded with the fight after the third or fourth round. But it was complete domination in my opinion. I was never in trouble. I was never in hurt. I was always in control. I did what I needed to do to show him, who was boss. And yeah, I feel like I earned everybody's respect in that fight. I've heard nothing but good feedback. So yeah, I'm happy. And
was Roy Jones Jr. happy with your performance?
He was, yes, he was. I worked on stuff that we had specifically said would work against Liam. And he always loves it when he sees things that we work on actually produced in a real fight. He says that makes him very happy because it's tough. It's all very good and well practicing something in the gym, but if you don't actually go out on the night and produce it, what's the point? It's kind of a waste of time. So I always like to make sure that I actually do the things that he says.
I spoke to Calla Sowland on Sunday. What's the next move for you? What are they looking to help you to get next? He talks about the WBA, the WBO, the situation with most likely that Golovkin and Ryota Murata will fight next. Billy Joe Saunders seemingly threw his cap into the ring saying that, that's a big fight that can happen as well, challenging you, saying he could still beat you with one hand, half dead or whatever it was. It feels like would be a very big domestic fight as well. I say domestic, it's a world level fight in lots of ways. Is that something that could interest you if they could get Billy Joe Saunders onto Sky and a Boxer Wasserman card?
Yes, it is. It's all good and well saying, I want to fight for a world title, but you have to pin it down. You have to secure it. And that is no easy task. The politics of boxing is it's a real thing. Even if you deserve the shot, even if you're a mandatory challenger, some things don't align, then you don't get the fight. So that is an awesome alternative. That fight was always going to happen. It was just a matter of when. So if we can't pin down a world title, then a fight like that would make sense. Yeah.
And is it righting the wrongs, putting the record straight, showing what you've learned over the years, intervening?
Absolutely. That is nothing more than retribution and revenge and entertainment. He doesn't have any belts. There's no. It doesn't put me in any better position to challenge for a world title. But it's a fan friendly legacy fight that has to happen before both of us retire. So if it can happen this year, then I'm happy to make that fight.
There was also a call out to you from left field. We've had Ben Eubank 1, we've had Eubank Ben 2. Could we get a Eubank Ben 3, even though Conor Benn is at welterweight and you're at middleweight?
Could we? We absolutely. Boxing is if I've learned anything over the last few years, is anything can happen in boxing. If you can see Roy Jones fight Mike Tyson, if you can see Floyd Mayweather fight a YouTuber, then Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn is actually not crazy sounding at all. That's a fight that could most definitely happen. People move up in weight. you know, and it's a huge money fight. It's the most money that Conor will probably make in his entire career. And it's the biggest fight that Conor would ever have in his career. Is it the right time for him to be calling for it? I don't think so. But he seems to be very confident, and he seems to be kind of pushing for it now, which is it's still very strange for me even to talk about it. But if by some miracle it can be made, obviously I would never turn it down, because it is something that a lot of fans would love to see. I would love to see it. If I was a boxing fan, I would be on Twitter saying, "Make this fight." So yeah, boxing it's a beautiful thing. You know, anything can happen, and yeah, that fight, whether, you know, I don't see it happening in this year or whatever, but you know, I can't say that it would never happen, because it could happen. We'll have to just wait and see when. The timeline has to be right.
I agree with you. Realistically, it might be a fight in a year and a half, 2 years' time. You know, he'll probably want to challenge for a welterweight world title first, all that kind of thing, maybe grow a bit more, all of that kind of thing. Have you two ever sparred for any reason, or come across each other in the gym and sparred?
No, never sparred. I've been in gyms with him before. He came down to my gym in Hove in Brighton a few years back with his dad. We took a picture in the ring. You know, I've seen him in events and bumped into him a bunch of times. He actually got into a little spat with my little brother Joseph at one point after one of my fights. Things nearly kicked off, and I had to calm them both down. That was that was interesting. But you know, at this stage,
won't it? Time will tell on it. You won't it? Yeah. Time will tell. Yeah. Final thing, because Ed Roth, who's monitoring this and chairing it, has said one more question. I need to ask you about the hand. Have you had it looked at yet? What is it, and how long before you're able to be back with it?
Yes, I had the hand scanned. Was it yesterday? Yesterday or the day before. No broken bones, which is great news. It's just ligament damage, swelling. And yeah, they pretty much just said stay off of it for minimum 2 weeks, which I will do. That's not an issue. Yeah, it was definitely an issue in the fight. You know, I couldn't actually. Every time I was hitting him after the fourth round with it, whether it was a hook or a jab, you know, just a sharp pain shooting up my arm. I've never had that before. You know, I've had little injuries in fights, but nothing to where I actually had to kind of really change. Really change how I was fighting. You know, I've never done what I did in the 12th round with the moving around. I've never done anything like that before. You know me, I'm always looking for that finish. But the fight was won. Why risk? You know, if it was broken or badly damaged, why risk it getting any worse? You know, the fight was already won. So, yeah, I will be fine in a couple of weeks. No issues.
Great, Chris. Great to catch up with you. Look forward to seeing you soon and you getting back soon. Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Gareth.
Cheers.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Gareth.
Cheers, Ed. Thank you, Chris.
Speak soon.